Hello, Josh Dawson. Josh Dawson indeed. You are the first. That means you win a prize. And your prize is to watch me making some videos, because I've got a lot of videos to get on with. Hey, Robert, Rocher75. Robert, what this is, and I don't know if the audio is any good, so I'm going to put my mic a bit near my gob hole. Oops, not that near. Is I've basically wasted my whole day, my second day of my weekend, because again, I told you I don't function well without something to do. And what happened was I was going to go and do a bunch of stuff, but I ended up I made a few videos already this morning, and I'm going to edit some now, so it's going to be like a live editing session a little bit. But the thing I want to show you is basically, I'm going to say show you. It's not really show you. The reason I'm making this video is basically because I ate a whole load of cereal instead of eating breakfast or lunch, proper lunch, and I fell asleep for a few hours. So now I'm sort of panicking because I have to get on with this. So Josh Dawson is saying prize. You want a prize, do you? You want a prize? What's your prize? Is to be first, basically, and you get to see all of my amazing videos that I'm making. I'm editing, and you can see my editing. This is it. It's basically how to use Sony Vegas, or Magix Vegas as it's called now. So I'm going to put in my video clippy clips. So, Watcher, you say when you like how the shows always start right when you sit at your computer. Honestly, are you always at the computer? oh, hello. Dino, can you hear me in the stream chat? In the Discord? Oh, he's gone mute. We do... Oh, no, there he is. Dean, you'll have to mute the voice in the actual stream. And then you can talk, otherwise it'll go crazy echoey. So the Game Whisperer, Dean, is in the stream chat in Discord, and he may not be joining us, but recently he's had a NES shell, and they're not NES shell, a NES innards from me that didn't work. So, you know, it'd be interesting to see how he's gotten with that. Hi, I'm Andrew Armstrong, and welcome to the back. So there we go. That's my starting a video, and I'm not. See, I'm very careful when I do these sort of teardown videos because I don't want to edit them. Basically, so you can see I sort of watched a bit at the beginning, and then there we go. And there's a bit at the end, and there's a very bit at the end. Now, interestingly enough, there's a special patron message in one of my videos this week. You will see it. Oh, he's dead. First like. Thanks for watching. So we've got a thanks for watching here. So I'm going to cut that there. And then I'm going to cut this here. And I could hear, Dean, are you with us, sir?
Evening, Andrew.
Oh, how's things?
All right, how are you, mate?
I'm doing good. How fares the weekend? Did you manage to get to the car boot sale?
Yeah, just I spent out. bought loads of junk, as usual.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Did okay.
I was looking
Did you get out as well?
No, I haven't even left the house. Well, I left the house in the morning. I went out very early in the morning to buy stamps, cat food, a packet of sausages, and dishwasher tablets. And the whole lot cost me 30 quid. So that's my crazy morning. But I never had breakfast. I never I never did anything yet. So that's a problem. Retro Man Cave, hello. Josh Dawson saying first like, first dislike. Well, yeah, there's always dislikes on my channel. Neil, did you get out to the charity shops or car boot sales, or anybody in the actual chat there? So what was wrong with the NES then?
Good. Oh, it was the voltage in was shorted to the ground on the voltage regulator.
I kind of feel that I thought I checked that out, but maybe I was going mad with it. I don't know. I was looking through to see if I did a video on it, and I couldn't find myself doing it. You saw me. I was searching, and I thought I made a video on it, but maybe I just been Sometimes I'll try the thing out before I make a video, so I've got a fair idea how to fix it. Otherwise, I could waste 3 hours filming, bollocks. And I think it was one of those ones where I just give up.
Yeah, it was one of those ones where I plugged it in and got that warm electrical smell, and there was a bit of a snap and a crackle, and I thought, better turn it off and then just use the nose to find out what the trouble was, and it was leading me straight to the voltage regulator, and then I spotted it. So I think that was the moment that I sent you the message. But from then on, it was deoxit and just chucking an LED on so I could see the blinking red light, and this rest of it. Well, you've probably seen it on Twitter. I don't know, but yeah, the quest is on now to get a case. I think I'm there, but.
Oh yeah, I see you having a little bit of issues with that, but it's amazing that if you get one, though, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
And
yeah, it should be good.
In the chat, Simon says I was intending to, and he recalls that I messaged him at 3 a.m. about it. So clearly he remembers more than I do on that one. Okay. He says, I assume you're insomniacking about it. And Retroman says, is this the NES we saw on Twitter today? So I think that was, you did post that today, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Yes, well spotted.
So Neil he's always on the lookout. Any bit of hardware project, he's on it. So Watcher75 is saying, what exactly are car boot sales? I'm guessing it's like a flea market or swap meet. Well, I would say he's probably right, from what I imagine swap meets and flea markets are when you look at US stuff. So this bit of video I've got in front of me here, this is the Nintendo Joy-Con repair. And so when I'm editing videos, I do notice sometimes if there's a big gap, because I kind of think a big gap means I probably started again. And if you're not careful, you'll render the video and then you'll hear yourself doing the same thing twice. So in order to... No, that was a legitimate one. So do you have any other projects on the moment then, Dean? Other than, because I know you've been working on that one, but it was kind of an impromptu one. This was like a little baby project that just, I'd given you in a way. So was there any sort of long-standing projects you were working on? I'll make the effort.
Yeah,
Let's
I'm in the middle of two at the moment that are quite frustrating, but I'm sure I'll get there. There's an Atari 65XE, which just can't quite figure out at the moment. It's just giving me a black screen, and also I ruined the case by retro-brighting it or putting the hydrogen peroxide on it for a little bit too long, so I've got to sort that one out somehow.
So are you going to just paint that case?
I don't know. I might just try it again in the sun and maybe submerge it instead of doing it in the cream, because I think I've just got too many streaks. Maybe I'll recover it somehow. Another one then's an Intellivision, which similarly is giving me a black screen, but that's so hard to probe though because there's massive heat sinks on it, so I'm doing everything upside down. So I just need to get it all laid out in a nice way, and I should be all right.
I think that I do have a TV game in television here, and it's a curious little beast. The Intellivision, it certainly it's like the graphics and things look so unique to it, don't they?
Yeah. No, it's a nice little system. It's not. I didn't know it from my childhood, but gathered it years later. I think I know the TV system you mean as well. Little blue handheld thing.
That's right, and that was a car boot sale purchase. But I don't know if it was a popular system in the UK, was it? I mean, I really didn't see it at all.
No, I didn't know it.
Let's see, what's the next video we've got? The Super Mario Cube. There we go. Have you seen these Super Mario Cube things that people gift people like you or I for Christmas or birthdays? It's
don't think so.
It's basically like a lamp it's got LEDs in it. When you turn it on, it makes the little Mario sound.
Yeah,
it's really lame.
Yeah, I can see it on your video now. Yeah, okay, I know what you mean.
So I've pimped one out, something a bit better. Oh, Simon says that person on Twitter swore by the cream stuff, didn't they, Dean? I said it was too strong with uncontrollable results when you tried it in the past. So, Dean, do you have an answer for Simon? You may have received one of...
There are people who swear by it, but I think I'm going more with the versions that I'm seeing with 8-Bit Guy at the moment. He's submerging it, and I know he's got the Texas Sun, I guess, but
Well,
his results seem a hell of a lot better than mine.
Well, I've got something here, and that's that ozone generator I made, and it's ridiculously strong. It's quite a small unit I've got it into because I built it all into the PC power supply enclosure, and it generates masses upon masses of ozone gas, which I was using all sorts of experiments. And I have a feeling it would be able to retrobright things. So I don't know if that's worth trying. Hi, Amanda Armstrong. So there was some chat in the Discord. I don't know, was it Simon? Was it you we were chatting about using the ozone? But it's a feasible thing. So when you press the old LED button, boom. Hi, Amanda Armstrong, and welcome to the back of his... Ooh. Okay, so this is an interesting one for anyone watching in the stream. I've got a whole video here that seems to be recorded. And then, what's this? Watcher. Hi, Watcher. I think you've got your stream playing. You need to mute your YouTube stream. But then I think I've re-recorded the beginning. So this is what happens if your camera screws up mid-recording, or you're recording for a while and then you look up to your camera and then you discover that your camera's not been recording. So I might leave the Super Mario Cube video unedited for now because I think that's something I'm going to have to get back to. But those of you can see I was up to all stuff with it. There's actually the second part of this video, so I might as well insert that now before I forget, though. So, Watcher, where are you? What part of the world are you in again? I can't. I forget. I think you're in the US. But maybe you're just listening to the live stream. There's me setting up the shot. Oh, Las Vegas, fantastic. Right, so that seems to be about where I stopped messing around. We'll just pop that in there. Boom. Right, we'll have to come back to Mario. I don't think that's nearly finished enough. Another video. See, I've got a lot of videos to get on with. Oh, and Simon recognised the piece of music, Dungeon Music from The Legend of Zelda. Funnily enough, Simon, that unit is suffering from an overheating issue, and it's not the only thing. I did some speaker mods. Now, Simon, the other thing is that module inside that light. I'm saying speaker, but it's actually a light. That's absolutely chock full of Nintendo sound. So it just plays on for like 4 hours of chip tunes. So it's pretty nice. I do actually just find myself hitting it on, but the only downside is it always starts from the beginning every time you turn it on. It would be nice to have it remember where it was, which again is a relatively minor hack. Basically, you leave the MP3 player playing all the time and you just silence the speaker. I know it's naff, but they don't draw much current. Oh, Amstrad 464 video. Okay, let's edit the Amstrad 464 video. The Amstrad 464 video. So you can see I've always got videos on the go, and then every now and then I do tend to try and finish one. Yeah, so Simon, it is a very cool mod, and it's one of those things that I think might be nice for a party. It might be nice to give it as a gift. The only downside is someone receives it as a gift, they might think it's the regular crap one that you can buy now. The funny thing is, they were available like in Firebox, weren't they, for like 40 quid, but now you can get them in Poundland. Hi, Amanda Armstrong, and welcome to the back office. Nicely on it at some point, because I lay it down nicely. Oh, you gotta love the back office towels. Look at that. The back office towels there. I tell you, you know what? I'm going to design a new T-shirt, guys. I put in the Patreon chat this morning about the idea that I have for finally making the T-shirts, because I think now I have pretty good skills in them. I've got half toning, I've got multicolours, I've got all sorts going on. So I'm thinking of doing a very special back office t-shirt, and it'll be special in that it doesn't have my logo on it at all. So some of the patrons already have back office logo t-shirts, which are the very first alpha run. They're not even beta quality, they're alpha. And they're pretty awesome. I do see them. Gary, I don't know if you're watching. Gary, I see him wearing his all the time. And I've seen Howard wearing his. But the one that I'm going to feature specially for patrons probably won't have a back office logo, or at least, or it'll have something. It'll be really subtle on it if it does, because it's not about me, it's about the patrons. So it will be a back office t-shirt. It will say back office on it. It'll say the usual stuff, but it'll have a little special twist on it, and that special twist is going to be a pain in my bollocks to actually make. But I think it's important because I think it'll be awesome. So right, this is a video I'm editing now. Is on the Amstrad CPC.
There's no greenery,
and I'm just
side.
Well, I do.
I don't know what's going on
sometimes. As I just jump through listening to just make sure the levels and things are still correct. So you get these little sound bites. But you notice on the right, if you're using Vegas, you've got your master volume control. So any audio that comes in, I boost it by 3.7 dB. Because remember, I made my mic. I know exactly the specs and calibration of that mic, so it always comes in. So the template actually has those. But then what I like to do is just go through,
hot glue and pins on them.
make sure everything's
they're
right.
similar.
And this is a nice one because it actually follows up to one of the earlier mailbag videos I just uploaded into YouTube today, because I actually bought a tape belt. So it's me fixing the tape belt on this. And it's one of those things that I don't think it necessarily needed it doing, but I did it anyway. And it's very similar, I think, to the Spectrum Plus 2 tape player. It might even be similar units, but I didn't revert back to the previous, refer back to my earlier video on the subject. But I don't know, it was all right. It wasn't that difficult at all. Let's have a little play. So sometimes when you see a scene between two videos, it's good to play between those.
I'll be more worried mechanically about messing up the...
See how it just follows? So it shows I didn't do a cut. You don't want a big jump cut sometimes without tidying that up. And in the chat, by the way, I'm happy you guys to just chat along about your retro brighting. I'll just shout out just in case anybody's watching this stream and they can play back that. But yeah, there's some discussion on retro brighting techniques, and between Dean, who's just in the Discord, who may or may not still be there, he's there but listening on mute, and Simon and Neil from Retro Man Cave, there's a lot of discussion on those. I think 8-Bit Guy definitely has some good techniques, but he has that benefit from that powerful sun a lot of the time. I think we had the weather, haven't we? But I've got a very squirrely. That's the only word I could use to describe it. Squirrely Atari ST that someone gave me, which looks like it's in need of either more retro brighting or just to the point where it needs painting.
Happy. Right, I get to go play with this. Thank you for watching.
Ooh, there we go. So that was my Amstrad CPC 464 getting ready to be used, basically. McBeam, sir, how are you? Long time no see. So that's 4 videos down. Crikey, this PC is going to be running late into the night with its rendering schedule. And I do have more than one PC for doing this rendering, but I just so lazy. I just end up. You know how lazy I am. There's a script you can buy. You have to buy it, which is it's quite cheap. But actually, it's because you get all these plugins for Vegas, and it's almost like a video production script where it'll actually load up all your videos in sequence and render them. So it's like a mass rendering thing, as if you're making like a movie or something. But I don't do that. I just tell my PC to render all of them simultaneously at once, which takes slightly longer because not only are all the cores then maxed out, it's the contention between the data bus starts to slow things down. Polaroid speaker repair next. Crikey, that looks like a painful one because there's lots and lots of videos, sub clips in that one. So I'm going to try to do that one in the least annoying way for you guys watching at home. But then we're going to have to really get back to that Mario one. Can't avoid it. But I might just try to mute the volume. Okay, so that's so if you remember, I bought a Panasonic speaker. I'm trying to think what happened to this. It was in one of my videos. It's a set of Panasonic speakers from... Oh, okay. Right. When I say repair, I repaired some speakers that I broke. That's what the problem is with this. It was me breaking the speakers, and I hope I don't really know. I might not. Again, this might be one of those videos that I might have to come back to and decide how I'm going to handle that. Because despite the unedited looking nature of a lot of these, I do have some thought behind them. Hi, I'm Andrew Armstrong, and welcome to the Back Office Teardown Lab. Today we're going to be tearing down these Polaroid speakers. And you're going, why? Why? You like those speakers? Well, the reason I'm tearing them down is because I do like these speakers, but I don't like how they's treating me. They're not treating me right. So what I'm doing is I'm going to modify these. And I'm going to tell you while I'm discombobulating them, why I'm modifying them. And the reason is that it's got a weird behaviour that it kind of took me a while to figure out what was going on, and it's taken me a bit of Right, so the issue with these speakers is they have this strange behaviour that they seem to go to sleep. So when you wire them up and you play them, every time I was turning on my PC, it was getting this sort of clunk sound. So there was no sound, and then the sound would play after like 5 seconds. And what I thought it was the speakers have some sort of auto shutdown in the output so that they don't draw power all the time. So it's like an amp mute, and you do see that from time to time. In fact, I think the Odroid Go that we've got here, when you saw the schematics for this, you could see that was actually wired up. So I think this is what I know this is what I was up to in here, but I think while I was trying to sort it, I actually broke it more, or I found a fault. There was something wrong in here, so I'm just going to have to now play with these bloody subclips to figure out what I was doing. Jump cut this one. So clearly I said I was going to jump cut. Great. Coughing. Okay, sneaky, sneaky. And I've got a whine going on it because it's summer now. There's a lot of gadgets in the back office that are silent most of the year, but they're starting to work harder because of the fans. Okay, sneaky, sneaky. Oh. Trying not to mess it up too much. I'm just forcing a screwdriver under the edge. I mean, that's pretty much... That's schoolboy, that is. But it works. It doesn't really matter anymore now. That panel's toast. One came with the socket. Rig, by the way, but it's a standard def rig. So, looking at this PCB here, clearly I've snapped a little bit of an inductor there. That's not really a big deal. But there's something on here. This is the crossover for the base driver in it, effectively. But one of these chips, and some of them unmarked, it was working and then got really hot. I noticed it got pretty hot, and then this whole thing just stopped working through my experiments weren't really hardcore on this. It was just me playing with it. So 418, whatever that is. You can see it's quite nicely labelled up though. Grant N. Oh, I'll get back to you momentarily. Let's do a crossfade, shall we? You notice I don't normally do crossfades, but as this one's a bit of a saga. Hey. Okay, here is a very... Hey, Dutch Retro Gamer, how are you? How was your weekend? Were you working? I think you were working this weekend. Okay, here is a very, very weird thing. So Right, so I've obviously got to this point where I've broken the damn thing. That happens, and I don't know, Neil, are you still in the chat? Neil, tell us. Have you, as a video maker, and even Simon, you make the odd video, have you ever got to the point where you're well into a video but you've actually made something worse or discovered that it's unfixable at that point? And I say that looking over at the TRS-80 that's totally in bits, and I may have to erase my video I've recorded for that so far and just start again with it once I've got parts. Oh, you had a free day today. Wonderful. I had a free day today and I've just wasted it, basically. But now it's starting. I think maybe in this hot weather, sometimes your day starts a bit later, right? As I said, I had a little sleepy, fell asleep for an hour and a half or 2 hours or so just now. But now I'm up again. I can only identify one, which has got my second wind, which is sort of an op amp that's playing some sounds. So I've got a voltmeter set up to the left of. It's getting warm around this chip for sure. So there's me feeling the chip that more breaking my speakers. Frankly, I don't think I'll miss these things. So I don't. Let me have a little head scratchy session and see what we can do with this. I think I know what we're going to do with it. We're going to put an amplifier module in it and just get going. Get going. See what we can do with this. Right, my solution. And I tell you what, I'm having a little bit of trouble with this module in this speaker too because of this heat. They need a bigger heat sinks. Right, my solution. So the same reason it's not working in the Super Mario Cube, that starts to get a bit glitchy on its sound after a while. And my speakers here do shut down. A lot of these amplifier chips, they do have thermal protection in them. When they get too hot, they do start going glitchy. So if you are building these amplifiers, audio amplifiers into things, just be aware that this sort of heat where it's ambient here, 27 degrees, it's going to start failing. And a lot of people who may be watching your videos are doing stuff in the US, right? So they might have, or in other countries where it's generally hotter, so they might have different requirements for us. So Simon says he recorded a full CDI service the other day, went through removing and retrofitting a replacement timekeeper. Oh, the timekeepers are a pain in the cock, aren't they? Reassembly, CD drive service, powered it onto test, belt snapped, then found sound was turned off when recording. Ah! It happens. It happens to us all. And there's nothing worse, though, than finding that your sound wasn't recording when you are interviewing somebody. That's even worse. Oh, there's quite a lot of people in Discord. There's a lot of silent watchers in Discord. Interesting. Anybody in the Discord, feel free to chat. So McBeam says his Discord is frozen. That's sad to hear. I think you were using it on a phone, weren't you? It has a bit. Maybe it's a bit tricky to get it all going. A bit too much for the poor thing.
It's not the best on iOS at the moment.
It's not the best on iOS. And Her Wyland saying, Simon Locke, it's not entirely true. If you watch some of the Retro Futures videos, he refurbishes Game Boys and bleaches them with hydrogen peroxide and UV. Guess that's back to the old yellow plastics. Something I've got here, by the way, Dean, as well, is I've got a nail varnish. You know, like ladies can have these gel nails, and I bought my wife this set years ago for doing fancy nails that she never used. So when I found it has this thing for curing your nails, which is like 6 UV bulbs in a thing where you can just about fit your 2 hands. And I was using that for curing my resin from my 3D printer because it's a resin printer. But I bought recently a packet of blonde hair bleach, and I thought, I've got these little calculators because they can just about fit in that opening. I might try doing some retro brighting tests on those just with that.
It sounds like you have a homemade chip eraser as well.
Oh yeah, homemade chip. I'm not going to put the one you did for me in that though. How amazing was that, by the way? That it just all worked.
Yeah, I saw the tweet. Have you done a video on that as well?
I haven't made a video on it. I was too keen to just try it, but I'm gonna dismantle it again and retrospectively do a video because it's such a cool thing. But it's weird because it's not only one part coming from, say, yourself, right, and another part coming from somewhere random that wasn't even quite the right part number. And also the fact that apart from you had to actually program the UV ROM, right? Which in itself is like an extra stage where something can go wrong. So the fact that they're all sort of coming in the post, and I'm doing the final integration and testing here. If anything went wrong, for example, it would be a pain in the arse, wouldn't it? Because you don't know which part's broken.
Yeah. So did you manage to hit the button and have like a save state of whatever was loaded into memory?
Yeah, it all worked.
Oh, great.
So okay. It's just bonkers because the whole menu came up. The interesting thing about it is that apparently some later versions of the Romantic Robot Multiface 2, they had, it's got this little switch on it. I've got a switch on mine, which is a kind of a thing to hide it, stealth mode.
Okay.
So apparently later versions of that started to build the stealth mode into the firmware. So I think the firmware you gave me was one of the later firmwares.
Yeah, I tried to find the latest one. I think 8D from memory, but there may be another one hidden somewhere on the internet. But that's the one I found.
I guess the only thing is I don't know if they interact with each other in any way. But maybe now mine's got the best of both worlds, where it's got auto stealth, but also a hard switch where I can really knock it off.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
there's some more chat going on. Coloured buttons. No success on the various coloured button stubs, though. I'm not sure about what that is. Is that something to do with Retro Brighton Game Boys again?
Hello.
Hi, McBeam. How are you, sir?
That's me. Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing good. So tell us about your Atari ST VGA hack you're trying to do.
Well, what I'm trying to do is get the VGA connected to my Atari and not having too much luck.
So are you trying to replicate what you'd have achieved with one of the fancy Atari high-res monitors back in the day?
Well, I do have a Atari high-res monitor, but I'm trying to get it to the medium and low because, like a stupid, when I moved here 3 years ago, I didn't include the low-res monitor, the color monitor.
Okay, so you're going to need something altogether different because you're not going to be able to get it to work directly with your VGA. Let me find something for you. I did a vid on this.
Yes, you did, and I watched it a couple times.
Right, so what you would have needed is one of these sort of magic boxes that takes a SCART in. There might be a link in the vid, maybe, if you're using Amazon. I'll have to check that for you. But I think it looked something like one of these. So you can convert into HDMI quite easily the low and the medium reses. And then if you want high res, there is a very simple adapter. But, oh gosh, who's on here? Let's think. Someone's on here might know this. There is a actual solution that someone's made where it can do all three. Bear with me. Bear with me. Atari to VGA. It's really expensive. I say really expensive. I thought it was expensive when I saw it, but it might not be that expensive. Let's see. Someone's made a thing that literally lives... Oh, is that it? Could be. This is on one of the Atari forums. Let's put that in a new tab. But let's see if we can find that commercial. I'm trying to think. There's a guy in I think the UK who has. Ah, there we go. Look, he's got a shop. You see these things? This is taking the input for the output from the Atari ST and even the sound, and it gives it to VGA. But what it does, it can switch between all of the different resolutions automatically. So let's check this thing out. I can't remember. I'm kind of embarrassed because I can't remember who it was who was telling me about this. The link is dead.
Well, I know you did it on your Atari.
Yeah, I've done mine with just using like that box, you know, like one of those big box things. But this is like the next gen, and if I was doing it now, I'd try to get hold of one of these. But I'm just trying to see if I can see a number off here where someone's made it, so we can go to their website. It's really groovy. It's the fact that you don't need. How do you get out of this damn thing? The fact that you don't need anything else. Okay, let's see. It says I have to beg to differ. I'm biased because I designed these. Right. So this is a guy called Combat Commando on Atari Age. Dagnammit. We're gonna get there. Don't worry. We're gonna get there. Let's see. Let's click through some articles. GitHub. So yeah, the neat thing about this, it's just, oh come on, we're gonna get there. The neat thing about this, I say, it's just totally automated. But there's a chap though who does all of the Atari spares. Let's pretend Atari ST spares. He does all of the memory upgrades. He makes sims. He does everything. ExoHost. Here we go. That's it. I'm gonna paste that in the actual chat here. I'm going to paste that in the Discord chat as well, in the streaming chat. So let's see what he's got here. His website's a bit crazy because you can see it's just all listed. Every single thing that you can get for Atari. And we can look for high resolution. VGA. Come on. Here we go. Here. Right, let's read this now. This compact PCB plugs into the thingy, so you can plug it into a multi-sync of 15 kHz capable monitor to accept the ST video resolutions. volume control, and the auto detection of resolution in software. Well, there you go. And there's all the information about it when you click on that. I think actually for that money, it's not the cheapest thing in the world, but it's definitely not the dearest. I'm trying to see, how do I actually... He's got this... No, that was the worst thing to click. Do you see what I'm trying to do? I'm trying to send you the link to this particular item on his page, but I'm not sure where I can click it. He's got 27 in stock. If I get, if I've got enough Patreon bucks this month, I might order one of these to test it out. But I'm pretty sure it works great because there we go. Simon, why don't you make your own knockoff ones of this? We'll buy it off you for a tenner.
That sounds good to me.
And you see this this volume. This is a volume control, I think, for the sound as well. So you can control the volume because you know if you've got a VJ monitor with sound. So this is obviously a later version because it's got the headphone socket rather than the phonos. And there's even some small adjustments.
Sounds good. Yeah, sounds good to me.
And it's got these small adjustments for the RGB, so you can get the color tuned up just right. And you can see the tricky part is, which I think they've really solved nicely, is that it's got that DIN connection on the back of the ST, right? So they've found a through-hole DIN thing, which that's what makes this a real project, you know? I know it doesn't have a box right now, but you don't need a box. Look at that. And I think you just hit that button on the top, and it'll switch res to the high res. Because, of course, medium and low can go out on the same thing. You can switch that in the software. But the problem is in GEM, remember the high-res mode isn't highlighted unless it detects the high-res monitor. So maybe you can just hold that button down and you see the menu option appear. I don't know how it works, but there you go. Right, so I hope that's helped you out.
Okay, thank you.
So Watcher75 saying the hard part is finding a VGA monitor that syncs down to 50 when you don't already have one, and I agree totally. Watcher, you know what, I've found that too, and I've got a lot of monitors, especially in the 4x3 older monitors, and the older monitors in fact were less forgiving of that resolution in my experience. What I've found works kind of well are the ones which are TVs with VGA inputs. They kind of give you the best of both worlds because I think clearly a TV has to work at a few more random resolutions and modes. And in fact, if you think about it, a TV would have to work at the SCART frequencies, which would be like 15 anyway. So McBeam, if you don't have any joiner on your monitor, try it in your TV first. Before buying,
will do.
Before buying another monitor.
Yeah, if you can find one. I don't want to spend a lot of money for it.
I don't think you should. I think that'll be a good investment though. By the time you've bought all of the other leads and other stuff, you'll be at £30. So speak to ExoHost and he'll ship you one, I'm sure.
Okay.
Gate. Right, let's see what I was doing with this
Come
video.
around. Let me investigate.
So, kind of playing with that. And then I'd cut that thing out. Then I'd say I was going to investigate something.
Let me investigate. Theoretically, we could make our own. Let me investigate.
Okay, so that was me about making a bass crossover. And when you get differential outputs on stereo amps, you can play with those a bit on how you can use those to drive certain things. But I think what I've done in my design here, I can see there's two amplifiers. So I've just driven a secondary amplifier for the bass, but I've actually made crossover from the pieces I found.
Yeah!
Yeah! Look at that bass unit. Nice. I tell you what, it's quite funny. That song I'm using there is one I always use, and it's just on the free YouTube library thing. But it's so awesome. It's now become my de facto tune for testing things.
The only thing left to figure out now is how to fill in this all. I'm not sure yet. I'm going to do that.
So I got an all to fill in. So we've got like a bit of B-roll here now. So should I cut in a bit of B-roll? Hot snot. I tell you what, I love the old gas glue guns. Plenty of power all the time. A nice hot glue gasket, that's what you want. So we're just gluing that in. So Simon says, going to have this problem soon myself. Not sure what I have left that can handle RGB 15 kilohertz with separate horizontal and vertical sync. Yeah, it's getting harder now. I tell you what, I use, you might have seen it in my lounge. I use it for the Beeb, CPC, Commodore 64, Atari ST, and it's a LG telly, and it's quite not. It's one of the older LG tellies. It doesn't have the you can tell from when you use the UI, the firmware in the UI isn't quite the same as the other tellies in the house, which I tend to try to only get LGs if I can, and just same remote control, and if I can get a part number for that. I'll share that with you because it seems to do most things. And the nice thing about it is it has loads of HDMIs and SCARTs and the usual thing. But they're kind of an older model, so they're the kind that people will probably start putting on Gumtree now or chucking out. So yeah, you're using one of the old Asda ones. Yeah. What are the Asda brands? So like the Walmart brand for stuff. Polaroid, I guess, is one of them. Oh, I made a mess of that. I need to stick something on the front of that. Quality. Get here. Back off his sticker. Than it did. About 300 milliamps. We're going to put it at me like it's on the desk. It's at 5. Kim Carew. Basically maxing out at though. So let's hope there's a lot of my unbranded speakers. Thank you for watching. Now, funny thing is, there's a funny story connected to that video. Once I fixed that speakers, I had it all working off my bench power supply. Remember, it's a 5 volts. It needs up to an amp or something. I plugged in the wrong power supply, which is an 8 volt one, and it totally just blew out the amplifiers. So what I ended up doing is working on that speaker on my desk next to the computer. So I had it all open next to the keyboard, and I had a little USB soldering iron, and I couldn't be bothered to unplug it all and put it back on the bench. Got it working there, but that was a bit hillbilly there. Wasn't proud. Gosh, I think I must get back to that Mario video soon. Where are we? Let's see. We've got the finger blood oximeter. We've done the Joy-Con repair. We've not done the Super Mario one yet. We've done the CPC 464, and we've done the Polaroid. So we've got one though, which is some shaving butter. Do you shave, McBeam?
Yes, I do. No, I don't. Sorry.
You have shaved in the past, but you don't at the minute.
No, I have a full beard.
I like to have my beard for the winter, but this year I grew a beard, kept the beard for a long time, because when I was in Detroit, I got some crazy, you know when you get shaving rash when you feel like, oh, it's a bit red, you get a bit of shaving rash?
Right.
Whatever the hell is in the water over there, I don't know, maybe I was a bit too near Flint or something, that it screwed me up. I got these weird, like a rash, but it was like infected. So I had these bumps, you know, like you have these shaving bumps sometimes people get where they're particularly...
Oh, razor burn.
Razor burn. And it lasted for like 6 months. So I just kept a beard for 6 months. So I've only just now got back into to shaving. But I have made I used to occasionally make the odd video on shaving. So when I was last in the States, I had I tried this product called shaving butter. Shaving butter! And... it's all right. It's weird. It's like it's not a soap or foam. It's just like
it's like a cream.
Yeah, like a cream. It's like the cream that you put on after you finish your shave normally.
Right. Yeah.
So it's a bit weird, but I thought, let's try this out, and again, there's quite a lot. It's weird. There's a big overlap. We occasionally have chats in the stream or Discord about shaving, and I guess it's one of those things you kind of. because it's something you do so often, if you have people who are mindful about it, it becomes like a hobby, because it's something that you kind of get, oh, I have to do this every day. How can I make this more interesting?
Right.
But there's
it's a chore sometimes.
Yeah, so I think it's kind of like, okay, let's treat it like you're going to do a good job of this, and I think that's how the kind of hobby nature comes out of that, where it's like, okay, let's do this properly. But also for people who are like who like collecting and going to car boot sales, I think they like the shaving, because you can pick up all these crazy razors. I'm just going to show you some actually. Whoa, damn, this PC is hot. It's weird. You know, when you stand up, you're in this sort of different heat zone where all the heat from the PC is blowing. Jeez. Right. So, did you see when I did some videos on these things, these are called Rolls razors. I was given these two Rolls razors, and these are crazy heavy, by the way, like ridiculously heavy. Retrotech Ralph, yes, this is Vegas. I am doing video editing. And the thing about Rolls razor is that it contains its own strop. So it's got a sharpening stone, and it's got a strop in it. And oh, this one's looking a bit ill. And you got to be seriously careful with them, because they are basically, I'm just being a bit ginger. Oh no, there's a little bit of rust on this guy. Maybe this guy's fixing to be restored. But I'm just going to slide it into the handle, because it's basically, it's got a special handle on how it assembles. It's basically like a cutthroat, but a cross between a safety razor and a cutthroat. So if you look, and I'm going to be kind of cautious, you might be able just to see there's a guard on there, but it's barely got a guard. It's just basically the edge of a cutthroat razor, and you would shave that. But it comes with this whole crazy mechanism, which when you put the blade in there and you move this backwards and forwards, like that, it actually sharpens the blades up. So there's loads of crazy stuff like that. The reason I want to show you that is that on a car boot sale recently, I picked up this one, which is in an aluminium case, because it's like a more modern version. And someone was telling me there used to be military officers and stuff would use these. This one's neat because it's got the instructions in it still, and the blade is loose. Let's pick that up. So there's the old blade on this one. Someone's mashed the handle in it a little bit, but you know, it's just neat. But what I was getting at is it's neat to be able to go to these yard sales and stuff and pick up these safety razors and stuff and still be able to use them. You know, like you're using an antique and you can still get a good shave on it. So anybody watching the stream, by the way, just bear with me momentarily. I have these razors in my hands right now, and I kind of want to dismantle them because they're crazy scary to...
Don't cut yourself.
Yeah, if you don't put them away right, you really genuinely are running the danger of slicing yourself up with them. And what people don't realise, this is why they're all damaged. I've a little bit damaged. If you pull this handle up, the actual handle that comes for the razor, you can slide it into the side of the box. It's actually got an aperture for that. But a lot of people just shove it in the top and then slam the lid down, and that's what breaks the stones in them. So I'm not too pleased about that. I'm going to have to fix the stone on one of these. And that's actually interesting. This one doesn't even have a stone. This one, it just has the strop. So maybe they decided the stones are a bit of a liability on those. So Robert's just made a comment about taking the end of your nose off, and that's because, and I'm gonna mute this video, but I'm gonna play it so you guys can see the video running while I'm playing it. The reason is we're talking about a razor, the one I was using, which is a Merkur brand razor, and I can't remember what it's called, Robert. It was a particular one which lets you dial in the strength of the cut. You know, you can dial in how big the aperture is. But even in its most safest form, it has a massive gob on it. And as soon as you stop paying attention, because when you get used to using safety razors, you don't need to pay that much attention. If you've got like a standard butterfly, you're not going to hurt yourself too much. But when you use this bastard, because it's basically like a cutthroat with a handle, you end up like taking the edge of your nose off, and I've done that a couple of times. Lucky I've got plenty of nose to spare, but some people aren't as blessed as me. So this is an interesting effect in this video because you can see the color balance is different because it's filmed in a different location. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply a per video effect here. So that's this icon down here. Maybe I'll embiggen this so you can see where the mouse is going. So I'm going to click here. And I've got a lot of plugins here. So I'm going to bring in... I don't know if I can remember now. There's various color correction filters you can get. So bring in some color correction filters if you got them. I'm going to pause that right now, and it'll give you a panel like this. I'm going to keep the panel kind of, yeah, here's all right. I've got 3 monitors set up, and you're only seeing one of them. So let's just apply some presets. Sometimes you can just get away with some presets here. Not really. None of them are just. Who's that? Who are we hearing? I heard a what's up. Go ahead. You may speak. I don't know about you now. That video looks crazy. That color. It's kind of gone all orange. It definitely was not orange beforehand. So when I'm turning on the color corrector...
You're the Tango Man.
I'm the Tango Man, yeah, and it's weird. I've set it to like reset to default. Oh, there we go. Dang. So what I want to do is anyway, I'm going to try to just turn down a bit of the U, I think. What the heck? I think this filter's a little bit too intense for me. I think we need something that's just a bit gentler. So that was... Oh, color balance rather than a color corrector, I think. There we go. We don't need to make it like a D-Light video. Yeah, that's better. So you can see now you only run through these ones are a bit more sensible. I think the first one was better because it was basically boosting the blues. There we go, that one. See the blue highlights? Makes the white looking a little bit more white there. That's basically what that's doing. And you can see, by adjusting these, you can say this feels warm and cozy, and this looks cold and clinical. So I kind of want half and half there. Let's do that one. I think I do take my top off. You can see if I do look like a Tango Man. That's probably about as good as you're going to get with it. Now I did say a few rudish things in here, so I do feel I was going to cut some things in there to lighten this up a bit, because I did say some fun things in there which could be perceived as being rude if they were taken out of context. So I thought I'd put in some stuff to fix that up.
But we like a bit of rude.
Yeah, but I kind of it's rude, but it
might... not for the mass audience, I guess.
No, it isn't. It's not rude. If I was saying something like let's say I made a joke about the something Welsh, right? And Robert Taylor's from Wales. He's in the chat right now. People in Wales might take offence, but they don't realise that I lived in Wales for 10 years and I know Rob. So you got to be careful that it's like an in-joke gets taken out of context.
There you go.
But if I want to get rid of it, you're right. If I want to get rid of it, I have to do a shitload of editing. So maybe I'll just leave it in and not change that one. But the problem with this one, I was so tired here. I gotta sort something out with these bags on my eyes here, like a panda. Need some sleep. Then that way I wouldn't fall asleep in the evenings. Yeah, I think that's gonna do. Let's see, audio. The audio now. I got to check the audio because this is one that was done in a random location.
Shave Butter Superior Razor Glide Ultra Moisturizing Blend.
Right, so you can see here on the right, I'm peaking on my master output. So I've got an option. I can downgrade this channel, which I've got boosted at 3.7 decibels, or I can just lower the master. It doesn't really matter because I've only got one audio track here. You could just do it on the master level, but that kind of feels half-assed. So I'm going to down that on the channel itself.
Blend, so maybe that's it. It's like the ultra moisturizing. So it's like your shaving foam and your aftershave lotion in one. So yeah, Shave Butter.
So I'm going to try to locate a highest peak I can see, which is here.
I'll put links down below if you can.
Perfect. We're not maxing that out. Now let's see if I can find that thing I said about that was a bit rude.
It's in the US. Foam we're going to use a razor at home. We're near sort of like blade. You don't a number all the YouTube views up. Got my biscuits bowl or anything like that.
So there's a joke that I made there about getting my boobs out to increase my YouTube views. So I don't know if that will be offensive to lady YouTubers who struggle with that sort of fuck it, let's leave it in. Right. So
I think they'll laugh. Especially Becky.
I'm gonna leave that in. Yeah. I don't know if Becky's watching. A good sport. Becky is a good sport. So let's do back to the Super Mario fucking, pardon my French, bullshit video where I seem to have lost a whole section because I've come in and I've started, like I can hear here, listen to this. Hi, I'm Andrew Armstrong and welcome to the Back Office Teardown Lab. You have one of these things for your birthday or Christmas and they're pretty lame and I'm making them better. Doing stuff here. Now you can see I've already got into this because my camera kind of screwed up a bit. So I'm saying here my camera screwed up, so I obviously at 10-minute mark retook. Oh, Robert Taylor says bags are a 40+ thing, they'll never leave. Great. But I needed to hear that. And I'm going to admit I actually did I bought these things to try them out and they kind of do work for the worst days. Effectively, they say it's like a men's thing, but as far as I can tell, it's exactly like my wife's concealer, put in a more masculine package to put on your under your eyes to make them look less bad. And I suspect a lot of people are doing that in YouTube videos, who are the older generation who are making YouTube videos or in front of camera. So I'm not ashamed to say it. I may have to learn how to put on makeup. So. There you go. Take that from me. If you see me in YouTube videos and I'm looking good, I'm using artificial means, I can guarantee you. Now, Soccerzocht is saying, ever tried beard waxing? And now I'm wondering, when you say beard waxing, are you talking about removing your beard using wax? Because that sounds horrendous. I've tried nose waxing and I've tried ear waxing, but I would never want to remove beard hair. I mean, that's like, well, I don't know. Saying that, it doesn't hurt when you do your nose. Or ears, so maybe I suspect it does hurt though. That's a big sheet of face flesh that you're ripping at. Simon says, was the Joy-Con yours or one you picked up? It was mine. So Simon, I'll just show you real quick about the Joy-Con repair video here. Yeah, so this is my Joy-Con, and what I'd done is I think I shoved it back in the Switch the wrong way round. I kind of was blaming my kids for it. Hi Mike. Thanks for joining. I was trying to blame my kids for this, but I don't think it was their fault, to be honest. I think it was me. And when you put the Joy-Con in the wrong way round, like you put it in upside down or something, or you put the right one in the left, I can't remember the exact combination, you damage, I can see it here, this little plastic nubbin, and it gets a little nick in it there, like that nick. So that nick is basically chamfered. So once it's chamfered, it can defeat the locking mechanism, and you obviously don't want that chamfer in there. So what I did in this video, actually, I showed you that there's two ways of repairing it. I've got a file out. When I saw it, I thought, oh, if I file that flat, which focus, you fuck. Let's see if you focus. There we go. It just starts working again. You can bring that back. So you don't really need to do what I then followed the video up with. But then the last part of the video is I took these, see if I can get a picture of them. They're basically up there. They're these metal versions that you can buy. And I got a bunch of those on eBay. It was one of those weird things where you buy them in an auction and eBay warn you to say they've pulled the product. I think it's because maybe, I don't know, maybe Nintendo don't like product, but there they are. They're metal versions, and then they click in with a very hard click. Yeah, so Simon, once it gets a notch, yeah, a little chamfer, it won't lock in. So if you've got one though, don't rush out and buy this kit because it's just I mean, okay, they're all right, but you don't necessarily need it, is what I'm saying. I mean, you can easily, it just takes 2 minutes just to open it up. You've got the tri-wing screwdriver, the Nintendo screwdriver bit. Just use that, pop it open, file that bit down, and you're good to go. You don't really need the metal ones. I'm kind of in two minds at the moment because there is something I've noticed. On one of the edges of one of the Joy-Cons, like down here, I noticed it's got a little bit of bashage going in. So if you've got kids and they're holding it like that, sometimes they're hitting the edge of the switch on things. So I'm kind of thinking there is a thing that if you go bang on that corner, that the plastic one might just give and pop the Joy-Con off, whereas the metal one won't be so yielding. I don't think it'll... Do you see what I mean? I'm trying to think, will the Joy-Con sustain more damage if it's held onto the unit rather than being popped off because the plastic gave way? I would like to think Nintendo designed that in, but maybe I'm pretty sure they just didn't. It's just a kind of a bit of a weak point. So some saying Nintendo go after spare parts a lot for their current products, but not as bad as Apple. No, Nintendo will repair these, and you may have to pay the repair fee. So they will repair them and retain your warranty, but it is an easy fix. I mean, I'm just trying to show you a little bit of it here.
Tilt this forward.
You're just swapping that bit in there like that.
Look at that, nice.
Just watch this bit here. There's this little cover that goes on the top. It's a bit weird actually. The cover's a press fit with a screw holding it.
Just
so
put that clip over the top.
No problemo. Oh, so Simon, you mean Nintendo don't like other people selling their spare parts? I mean, why? I don't know why they should care about something like this. So I don't know. Dean's saying Switch has started to crack. Waiting for mine to go. Considering investing in a standalone Switch controller and leaving it docked. Well, I think 99% of my Switch use is docked. I use it with the remote thing. Okay, Simon. Now your left Joy-Con wiggles. This was the left Joy-Con, and mine wiggled too, and it doesn't once I tightened all this up too. So maybe tightening all this up will actually sort it out. Because if the screw here is loose in any way, or maybe even this back screw, it's going to allow a little bit of flex on that rail. So yeah, you might want to just nip them up. I don't think it's a problem. But mine doesn't rattle anymore. So if I take it and then just little shake, it won't rattle. And I think just tightening these things up stop that. Right, so back to my Mario video. This is a mess. Look how much I'm into this. Where I started re-recording the video, I'm kind of appalled at myself. So I'm just going to quickly dash through this. Bear with me. You may have received one of these for your birthday or Christmas. It's a kind of a light thing which makes a bing bong Mario sound. It's pretty lame on most accounts, but I'm going to show you how to take this from a 0 to a retro gaming hero. Oh, I like that. Do you see what I did there? I've obviously... Remember, I don't do anything scripted, but I've obviously tried to give it that little bit more of a fun intro there. Try to increase my production value there. You may have received one... Let's see how this looks. Nice. There you go. This is quality, this is. If I don't get 100 views of this video, I'll be surprised. Hi, Amanda Armstrong, and... Right, let's nip that down there. So I'm just going to look through here. Oh, so I'm saying it's a red Mario one. No, I'll tell you what. No, loosen the outer screws. You'll be able to pop the shell so easy. It's really easy. You won't even get a mark on the damn thing. Just pop it open, and instead of using a normal spludger, use something a bit thinner, like a one of those little Stanley knife things, like we get, you know, the snap-off blades. I think that's fine. I don't think you'll damage it. Right, so let me just see what I was saying here. Hi, Amanda Armstrong, and welcome to the Back Office Teardown Lab. You have seen these. These are all over the place, and I think I got one for a birthday, and it's kind of cool, but not cool enough that I want it. Yeah, you could try with a plectrum, but the plectrum's probably going to be a bit thick. You might even get a better result just using your nail. I use my, you know, I've got scalpel blades and those Stanley knife things. I just normally get the edge of the Stanley knife, the scalpel blade enough to get my fingernail under it. It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Seriously, they'll just pop open. It's a sort of a lamp thing. But I've recently been messing around with MP3 modules, and you might have seen Evil MP3 player. Which I've done is I've removed the battery because I've used that in some. Really, so I haven't really gone into it. It's weird actually. It's so annoying. It stops. Okay, so it looks like I've done a lot of the mod here. Crazy. What? SW minus and SP minus ish tune.
Power to the switch.
So there's a bunch. There's obviously a bit there of me being confused in here. But if I was really confused, I'd have stopped the video and started again, so I'd be able to see there was a break that I need to go in and investigate further. So if I haven't got a break, keep rolling with it. Let Simon and Dean suffer watching me mumbling this. So Dean, who I think is on mute at the minute, he was. I can see him in the Discord. He was telling me earlier, and I could see some conversation between him and Simon about previous videos I've made where they're shouting at the screen because it's me doing something wrong. So this is where that wrongness comes in, guys. I just leave it in. I don't try to edit the video out.
So that makes you more human.
Yeah, I guess so. Or lazy.
Get some
And more entertainment for us.
Yeah.
Good. I know that long rambling videos aren't for everyone, but to be honest, I like watching them. And I don't know about you. I put on a lot of videos like AVE or even 8-Bit Guy, actually. Even some of the ones which are a bit more upbeat. But I just put them on in the background sometimes, where I'm not really I'm not watching them, but I'm listening to them. So or like Thunderfoot or something, where it just goes on. He's going on for like an hour.
Very dodgy brain. How about
So I've obviously done some soldering here.
it's just like microcontroller control. It's actually
Oh, speaking of solder, I ordered that solder kit we talked about.
Oh, did you? The US? Oh no, that was a proper one, right? It was a proper bench one.
Right. So it should be here Monday.
Awesome. Oh, that's good. You have to let us know you get on with that, because a lot of people. Oh, and Simon, by the way, in the chat says he appreciates it, but sometimes it doesn't half frustrate. Yeah, I know what it's like when you're seeing someone doing something wrong. It's like watching your kids trying to paint a wall or something, and you just got to grab that paintbrush, right? But yeah, McBeam, yeah, a lot of people do like to hear people's experiences of soldering stations and stuff, because some of them we buy are really crap. They look really amazing, but they can be really crap. And if you notice in Twitter and some of the Discord where people post pictures, I think we've all ended up pretty much getting the same equipment now, because we're always recommending things to each other. So yeah,
that does.
everyone will be keen to hear your experience.
Everyone has the same desoldering tool now.
I've got that. I've got the one that I never use it. What I'm looking at mine now. It's a ZD915. Is that the one?
Yes, it's known as Duratool as well, but I think everyone's just got the same one.
It's like the same OEM. And my hot air gun, by the way, to anybody who's interested, because I sometimes ask, is a ZD939. I use the ZD939. In fact, I might just take a little picture here and I'll pop that in the Discord. And then what you'll get to see also is my current status of my TRS-80. My poor TRS-80 that's just lying there wounded in pieces. So I'm going to post this in the stream gaming chat on Discord, this picture. There you go.
So what have you got? A scrolling screen of characters?
Yeah, I should have taken a video. I did make part of a video, but I should post the video of what the screen... Actually, I think I did. There might be I'll have a look through my phone. A dip shunt in there. And if you remove the dip shunt, if it says you see at 9 repeated, yeah, over and over again, then that's good. That's a good sign. That shows you the lower address lines. Addresses 0 to 9 or something or whatever are working. And then they say manually check the other address line. So I put the scope on and check the other address lines, and they're all happily pulsing away. So there's no stuck addresses. So those, I think, are coming out the Z80. So I think when you remove that, that's characters, I think, that are just randomly coming out of the Z80. Okay. So when you put that shunt back in, I think that's when it engages the video system. So it's basically a free-running video system where the video is being pulled off the RAM to the screen independently of the CPU. So when you're not running that thing, I think what you're seeing is what the video driver's pulling, basically. It's a combination of what it's seeing in RAM and all the latch decoders and stuff it's using. So the weird thing is, when I pulled the RAM, I still see the same junk. So I don't know if that means if the RAM is faulty, because you see what I mean. If the RAM is in or the RAM is out, you're seeing the same thing. I'm thinking maybe the RAM's faulty, but as I was removing the RAM chips, all the little legs were coming off because it's all corroded and old and junk.
Yeah,
so
that's not a good.
We'll bin that anyway, right? I've kept it in a pot for someone like you who might want it.
So what are you going to do? Resocket the lot and just you've ordered new RAM there, right?
Yeah, I've ordered new RAM. It was about £10 for a full set anyway, and it was all socketed anyway on there. So it's easy. It's an easy job, isn't it? To do. You might as well just do that. Get it out of the mix.
Have you got another Z80 there that you can just pop in to see if that makes a difference?
I don't. What machines have a Z? I don't think so, because I don't think I've got any other machines.
Spectrum, if you've got the old 48 one hanging around.
I do. Are they socketed? Do you know?
Yes, mostly.
Well, that could be it. No, to be
Oh,
honest.
sorry, no, mostly soldered in. I mean.
So I'll have to. Oh, hang on. I'm never going to get this Mario video done. Doesn't matter though. I've got plenty. What? Let's go on. I'm going to go on YouTube and see my video of my Spectrum because I had the lid off, didn't I? Can have a see if we can figure out if
ZX one.
Yes. So be able to see if it is soldered at back office show Spectrum.
If you might have something on that Phoenix board as well. I don't know what the process is on that.
Okay, let's see my videos. Trying to think, is there any super secret information that I'm going to share with you in my stream? I can't show you all my upcoming videos, can I? Otherwise I wouldn't have anything for the patrons to see. Right, so
Why not?
because I promised the patrons to see. I have some I don't give many benefits to my patrons, but at least there is that. Right, so Stuart George says, fixing a Trash 80 while eating an entire box of wasabi pocky. That would be a good watch. And damn it, I want to do that now. I'm so hungry. You know, I even went out this morning and bought sausages to eat. I'm going to say I'm going to eat sausages today because my wife's not here. And I didn't do that. I just ended up eating shitloads more cereal. So I don't know if there's any other cereal fans here. Right, so we've got 2 Spectrum videos here. Let's have a look. Oh, God. How do I get it embiggened? Right, let's have a little look through this. Bloody Spectrum, I tell you what. A pain in the bloody arse. Right, here we go. The moment of truth. Oh, it looks like it's socketed. Moment. That's got to be it, hasn't it, Dean? That big ass one.
No, that's the ULA on the left.
Oh, poo! Is it that thing?
Yeah, that's the ULA. So the other long one by the right-hand ribbon, that's the Z80.
So neither of these are accessible. So there we go. Shame. So Simon's saying it's probably more humane to kill a Spectrum for the greater good. And I think sacrificing a Spectrum for a TRS-80 is definitely the right way to go. Have you looked on eBay at the prices of TRS-80 stuff now? It's insane. I tell you what, McBeam, you need to look out for something for me.
Sure.
And I'll definitely be over when I come to the US. I'm going to pick it up off you. I need the tape deck. I think, was it Realistic? Was Tandy's own brand? Tape recorder. Let's see. There's Spectrum. Sorry. Here it is. I remember for my TRS-80, it had this tape deck. And I know it's going to exist in the US because they're hard to find here, but it was definitely a realistic model. Let's see if this has any other photos for it. So McBeam, do you recognize this tape player? The Realistic CTR-80.
Yeah, I think I have seen it.
So if you can keep your eyes open, and if I find one, I'll on eBay or something, I'll definitely pick one up and send it over to you. But yeah, this is what I am missing. This is a big gap in my childhood because I don't have this right now to go. So my TRS-80 is the childhood TRS-80. That's why I'm fixing it up. I lost the PSU, but fortunately Neil at Retro Man Cave had one. He could send that to me, and that seems to kind of work right now. I'm trying to fix up the RAM. I've got the TV, the monitor thing, and the monitor. It's really weird. Where the cable, and guys, everybody in the chat, listen to this. It's crazy. Be careful of this. The cord for the monitor was wrapped around the monitor, the TV. And I'm getting a bit confused. I keep saying TV and monitor interchangeably because it's definitely a TV internally. It looks like a computer monitor, but it's a TV. What's happened is the chemicals in the cord have seemed to reacted with the plastics, and they've actually eroded in. So part of the black plastic and part of the painted plastic on the top of the screen is actually proper. Yeah, look, so I'm not saying plastic softener damage. Yeah, definitely. So what I think it is, they tend to put these weird chemicals in plastics to keep them supple, like urea and things like that, which are acids. And I think what's happened is it's leached out and it's kind of leached into the thing. So it kind of sucks to have that damaged, but at least if I can get the tape player and the appropriate cord. There was one other thing actually that Tandy did. Tandy TRS-80 speaker. They did a little amplified speaker that I think was actually for a kind of a telephone. Like if you had a telephone and you were going to have a hands-free. Oh, look at that. That's beautiful. That is exactly what mine would look like if I had the tape drive. And the monitor has a little gouge across that. But, you know, there's not much I can do. Oh, okay. So Dean's saying Mark Fixes Stuff did a vid on that, and it looks like it was sat on a cooking ring. Yeah, exactly. And the only downside is you see the top of this monitor here. It's painted. It's got like a nice like wood grain or some weird thing going on. So it's really hard to sort that. But yeah, that's what my TRS-80 setup will look exactly like when it's done. When I saw this thumbnail for this video, I got excited because I thought this was an EV blog on one where I thought, his screen is doing the same thing. Maybe he had the same problem to fix, but no, that's an artificially generated pattern he's got on his one. So that kind of sucks. But I can't see it right now. But yeah, because there was ways you didn't have sound output on the TRS-80, so I think you had to use the cassette out. And what Tandy had was basically a small amplified speaker. Which is not too dissimilar than what you get now from those boomboxes these days. But it's like a little wedge-shaped box which would take like a D-cell battery. What did I click on? I'm just thinking it's not kind of too dissimilar to looking something like that. It's just, look, we're getting. It's kind of like that, but not as old. So that looks like something that was in the early 60s. We're talking like a late 70s version of that product, basically. So those are the two things I'm missing out on. So if anybody's... whoa! Yes, there we go. Look at that. It looks exactly like that. And that says Archer telephone listener. But I'm telling you, that was definitely like a realistic rebrand of that. Dang. That's like... Oh my gosh. Let's increase the search here. Tandy telephone. That's like the equivalent of... your Jabra, you can find it. Yeah. Maybe it was Archer. Do you think maybe I'm just imagining that? I saw a realistic one, but all these ones say Archer. And you can see there's...
Try Radio Shack on there.
Oh, I'll try that, yeah. Have you noticed that there's other pictures of TRS-80s coming up in this search as well? Because it was the solution. That says Archer again. Oh, maybe it is Archer. Was Archer affiliated brand, perhaps? Who knows? I kind of feel that... I don't know, what is it, Dean? What's this need? This need to rebuild your future, rebuild your past. Do you see what I mean? Even once this is all working, you're not probably going to really be seriously using it, but... I've got an urge to do this for some reason, and it seems to be like the most important thing to me at the moment I can do is to just acquire all of these pieces.
The fun comes when you've got all the pieces and then what to do with them all.
I feel that it feels legitimate though. Oh man, here we go. Here we go. There's a pair of these. Where's that one? Where is that one? Pennsylvania. Where is Yoshi? He's in Pennsylvania, I think. He could pick these up for me. Where's the other one? This one's a boxed one. Special. In Washington. Look at that. $11. $15. McBeam, I'm wondering if I send you the link for these, can you click on them and see how much they are shipping internally in the US? Because I only get to see the international shipping.
Sure. Sure, no problem.
I'll post you the link of what I typed. That's probably the easiest thing. No, I'm in the room that says Stream Gaming Chat. It's the chat. Hang on, that's weird. Why didn't my cut and paste work? Huh. That's weird. Have you ever had cut and paste not work? Copy. Paste. Oh, that worked that time. There we go. Ha! Watcher, you've got one of those. Cherish it, my friend. Cherish it. Yeah, so that'd be interesting. So if those are a few dollars in the US to ship internally, I might just ask somebody if they could pick them up for me, and I'll when I'm in the US next, I'll arrange to get them off you. So, and I'll
sure, no problem.
I'll wire you the cash in advance as well. I don't want you out of pocket while you're waiting for me to sort my stuff out. So here we go. Where was I with this down video now? So anyway, Simon, what you saying? There's lots of stuff going on in the chat. So I'm gonna have to jump in. Stuart George says such awesome 70s spy gear, the perfect size to hide a listening bug in. Yeah, and I do remember. I think Tandy sold a few things. Radio Shack sold a few things for spying on telephone calls and things like that. So Simon says he did the same thing with his C64 last year. Now he's doing the same with his C16. I think you're talking about that need for restoring something. I didn't have those computers, so I didn't feel the need. But I did my BBC Micro. In fact, let me speak BBC Micro for a moment. I still have my original BBC Micro as a kid in my parents' loft. The BBC Micro you see in my videos now are a more recent acquisition. However, yeah, I was overjoyed to find one in the loft. But instead of taking it down from the loft, what I thought would be nice is I'm going to bring cameras and stuff there and actually film in the loft in London and literally unbox it there because it's got all the books and discs and stuff and just go through all of that there. There's something about revealing, I think, the item in its original setting. That make it even more special to me. It'll make me feel like a kid again. No, my recent one isn't a Master, Simon. It's just a standard B, and the original is a B as well. The only difference is the recent one, it was kind of recapped and messed with. So it's one. Sorry, go ahead. Oh, I heard a bit of conversation and disappeared. The current Master, because it's been messed with a little. Sorry, the BBC Micro. You got me saying Master now. As because it's been tinkered with, that's why it's my tinkering one. So I've got the sideways RAM, I've got the Pi tube in it, and I've got the Spy MMC. But the one that's from my childhood, I definitely won't mess with it. I'm going to keep that just original. I'll probably open up the floppy drives, make sure the floppy drives are working, try to get a few discs working and that. Hopefully it's all survived. And even if not, like they say the recap kit, when you look at a recap kit for a BBC, it's like 3 caps. Simon, in terms of the Master, I think you think of Andrew Dalton because he's been talking about his a lot in the Discord recently. And I think even Rob Taylor, do you have one? I think Rob's in the chat somewhere. Right. Let me edit this last bit of video. Need to figure out how this is. Hello. Again, someone was sort of chatting briefly and then disappeared off. So when you press the old LED button, boom.
You didn't miss much. You were just being toxic.
Oh, right. Do we need more moderation going on now? Who was it? Anyway, whoever it was, anyway, you don't need to mess around. Be a grown up. JJXB briefly in there. Right, come on, let's go. So I think I'm going to cut this bit of video here anyway. And then it seems like I restarted this video after I had a bit of practice, perhaps. Hi, I'm Andrew Armstrong, and welcome to the back of his birthday or Christmas. My camera kind of screwed up a bit, but birthday or Christmas, and they're pretty lame, and I'm making them better doing stuff here. Now you can see I've already got into this because my camera kind of screwed up a bit, but to cut a long story short, I've dismantled the bottom of that. It has a battery-powered logic board which contains a bunch of LEDs on the top here and a couple on the bottom. So, Simon, if you're there, and Dean, I'd like your expert opinion. Do I see your link there, thank you. Do I cut this video so it's a super short video but has a jump cut because I missed a chunk? Or do I go with the new intro I recorded when it had already been tore down? TRS80 goodness in the meantime. Thanks for posting link in Discord. Oh, look at those. They brought them in all these exciting flavors. We get to hear robot attack here. Now I think mine's got
transistor radios, but there's some dead links in there, but it might be a start.
I think I've got the actual level 2 as well on this. I've seen that mod sitting in it. Where's the sound? Oh my god. Got to turn that down. It reminds me of the Intellivision. Aha. So JJXB was briefly in there, but didn't mean to click on the actual voice stream chat. Okay, no worries. Groovy. Right, I got to finish this bloody video. So I'm just going to leave in all the messing around stuff then. Hi, I'm Andrew Armstrong, and welcome to the back of his teardown lab. You have one of these things for your birthday or Christmas, and they're pretty lame, and I'm making them better doing stuff here. Now you can see I've already got into this because my camera kind of screwed up a bit, but right, maybe I'll just come in here and say my camera screwed up. It's because my camera kind of screwed up. Bang! Right, let's see if we can do this without a jump. There's going to be a jump cut. My camera kind of screwed up a bit, but to cut a long story short, I've dismantled the bottom of that. It has a battery-powered MP3 player module which I've decombobulated ages ago and had it lying around. And the reason I'm using this rather than bespoke MP3 modules is that it's simpler and they're really cheap. And if I can do it, you can do it because it's out of something. And then do seem to have repeated myself on something because out of something. Hi, fire in the pause on the project. I've replaced the. I'm going to leave the repeat stuff. I think that's fine. So I believe we have a transistor. Moment we do have a button transistor here to handle the current, which is probably what we would need once we're doing this. But here, and I'm going to put something in this. But I've still got. There's always the danger now that when I do this second bit, I'll sound extra clever because I've already actually figured out what I did wrong here, and then when I play it, I'll have recorded this like being the all-knowing genius, as if if I just connect this here, it'll just work because I'm an expert in electronics. Not that I just spent an hour pissing around with it, but you know, let's leave it in. You can call me on that one. Once we're doing this, but let's go for it. Let's see if we can blow that bad boy up.
I hate when people do that and do not show the mistakes that they make because that's how we learn.
Yeah,
That's so right.
There's a lot of videos like that, right? When I'm just watching it, and I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking EV blog or someone, or probably the smaller channels where they like make a kit and it's like amazing, but they do loads of jump cuts, like and it's like as if everything was just easy between all of those stages.
Right.
Whereas I like watching someone like AVE, and he's like doing something, and then he'll just start swearing, or he'll like go on a little rant because he's just screwed something up, and he'll say why he screwed it up and how he screwed it up and how he's going to get around it and how he fixes it, and then he continues. I think I prefer that for sure.
Yes, I do too.
What do you think, Dean? Dean, what do you think about things like the 8-bit guy, where he does like a retro brighting? Those are or something, and they're quite big jumps in those.
Yeah, I don't mind his videos at all. I mean, I've learned a lot from that guy, but the type of style that I like are the ones where you watch the marathon videos. I mean, I'm thinking of John Jacobson or John's Arcade. Then is sometimes they can go for 3 hours, and you watch him resoldering recapping a monitor every single cap. And there's not many cuts, and that's fine by me. That's how I learn as well.
I'm trying to think now. You might be able to remind me who this chap is. He does a lot of the. He's a bit like a UK AVE, really. He's not like a big Clive in that you see his hands all the time. He's normally just filming his bench. He's like a bit like a Julian Illett. But he had a BBC Master, which was set in on those Vigeland desktop cases, and of all of these hacks and mods. And he done like an X-ray machine from an airport. He just gets all of these really weird, huge things and just tears them down. Industrial equipment.
There's one called Jay's Vintage Junk that seems to have a eclectic mix of things.
It might be his thing. When he gets going, it's just literally he's just got the camera on and he's just pissing around with the bench, and it will just go on for, like, as you say, like could be an hour, could be a couple of hours. It's like real time. It could be a stream. It could have, you know what I mean? But it's fine. Oh yeah, not photonic induction, that's for sure. He's proper edited, actually, really. And I don't know what's happened to photonic induction. Is he back from India? Is he now emigrated to India? So Stuart says he doesn't remember the real TRS-80 back in Australia. Lots of Smith System 80s with its oddball keyboards. Yeah, there are a few systems based on the TRS-80 and compatible with them, but aren't quite. There's two on. There's a guy on eBay right now who's selling two of a thing. One of them smashed up. It's not like a Tatang Einstein. It's something else, but he wants 99 quid for these two. One's in good nick, one's bashed, and they're quite nice. They've got integrated tape players and things. If he was doing it for 50 quid, I would just jump on them right away. But he's just kept them on eBay for months and months and months for like 99 quid. Does anyone have any opinions on doing that? Would you just think those sellers should just let go a little bit, drop the price?
Well, sometimes I just message these people and just say exactly what you've just said. You've had it, be polite, but you've had it on eBay a couple of months. Is there any movement on the price? And be surprised, some actually just drop it for you.
I tell you what, maybe I might do that, because someone on eBay was selling one of those tape players a while back, yeah? And he wanted 50 quid for it, one of those realistic ones, whereas realistically, they kind of go for like 22 to 25 quid. And yeah. I made an offer, but my offer is going to be like half of what he wanted. So when he gets that, he's instantly going to go, no. So, but maybe if I message him even first before I make those offers and just say, look, I'm interested in this thing. I'm interested in giving you half the money for it. Can I make you an offer?
One of the things with eBay right now, that if you contact a seller, on their reply, they can make you as the buyer an offer.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that's how you can get a lot of things, especially with the buy it nows. You can't. I don't think you can do it on everything, but if they got something as a buy it now, say, is there any movement on the price? As long as they know what they're doing, the other side, they can just knock £2-3 off. It's a game or something.
As ever,
it's an easy way of getting things.
Oh, that sounds a fair way of doing it. I'm not trying to shill these people. Do you see what I mean as well? It's honestly, I have time to kill on some of these things. If it's something I really wanted urgently and you got money in your pocket, right? Sometimes you just go, oh, I want it, right? And you buy it as a treat.
Yeah.
But if it's like the TRS-80 tape player, and I don't see myself wanting to play any. It's like the Amstrad CPC. I got a load of tapes, right? But I'm not really going to use it for tape. As soon as I can get an SD card solution, I'm going to be using that. But because you're trying to complete your collection, you kind of want that item. So you could just say to him, yeah, I could wait a year for this, wait for you to drop it, or you could just drop it a little bit now and we'll meet in the middle.
Yeah. I mean, it's so easy just to, if you got some stuff on eBay, just to click relist when it doesn't sell.
Don't they? So they only charge
spend...
you on the sale then? They don't charge you on the listing? It's on the top here, and a couple on the bottom.
Yeah, eBay can
and I'm just
change
trying
their
to see if I
mind
can
as
tap in
offer as a
this.
socks, but basically, I think you get 20 listings free a month, and if you're not trying to sell your entire house, you just get an eBay and said, oh, it doesn't sell, do you want to relist it? You click a button and you've done it, and you don't have to mess around with the price.
Oh, that makes
sense. But, so that's why you see the same things over and over again with small sellers sometimes. But if you contact them and say, hey, I've seen this for a couple of months, maybe they'll do something. Many times they haven't with me as well, but I've had some luck.
Worth a go, isn't it? Andrew Beer says in the chat that he's been there. They should give in a little. And Simon says, I think it's the period set props people causing issues for these random things. Panasonic mono tape deck. Same I used to have as a kid. 50 quid now. Now I'm just looking through my list of my videos to see if I've edited now all of the videos. Interestingly enough, by the way, I saw a Polaroid Bluetooth speaker in Asda today. They reduced to 15 quid. I was almost tempted, but I don't know if I need another Bluetooth speakers in my life. I just want something that works now.
Have they still got those mono tape decks in Asda? Because they were doing those a couple of months ago.
No, and they went through 2 lots of price reduction. I was almost tempted to buy more, when I was there, when they were like down to a tenner or something. And I have to say, I've been using that on my MSX, and it works flawlessly. They're really good. The whole remote, everything. It's a no-brainer. If you see them, get one. But what's really weird, I've seen them on eBay since, and they're putting them on eBay for 30 quid.
Yeah.
The same Asda one. They've like gone to Asda, bought it, and put it on eBay. Right, so that's now. How many videos have we got now? That's me done for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 videos. So 1, 3, 4. That's 2.5 weeks of content there, and that allows me now to have a life a little bit, or at least have a life like this where I spend the day doing nothing and feeling annoyed at myself for not planning. But next weekend, of course, is Play Expo London. I hope there's a few people there going. You're not, Dean, are you? It's too far. Too scary to go into the big smoke.
No, I think the next Blackpool one I'll be at, because I enjoyed that last time. But
oh, awesome! When you say the next one, which is October, I think.
Oh, is it that soon? Wow.
Let's have a look. Play Expo. And pretty much everybody in the UK in the Discord, who's in the Discord, is going. So it should be interesting. Let's see. Yes, it's the 27th to 28th. And I don't know
Wish I was in the UK.
Fly over.
Yeah, the problem is I wouldn't recommend flying over, because the problem is the event was amazing, right? But I'm not sure if it's always amazing. But then, Dean, you went to one of the previous ones. Was it good when you went?
Yeah, it was really good. I think it was probably 2 years back. They had loads of people giving talks, and I went for the arcade machines, but at the time I wasn't really into the 8-bit stuff. But this time I think I'll be spending a lot of time around old computers.
Let's see if they've got any guests then. Retro Hour, I think they're pretty much almost like hosts for it. Oh, not much else. Who's this chap then? Is he the guy who did something with Sonic? Plainly, must have been involved. I'm a bit embarrassed because, if you ever listen to the stream that I do, the podcast with Neil, Retro Island Diskettes, it's quite interesting because we interview a lot of people, and a lot of those were at Play, but I don't recognise people because I just see them as generally hairy black t-shirt wearing people of a certain age. If you know what I mean. It's sort of quite nondescript people who are adults in the C64 and Spectrum era. A lot of them look quite similar now, and they sort of have the same clothing. So I do apologise to anybody who's in that scene and I don't recognise you right away. But I might recognise them from their voice now. So let's see the chat. So JJXB's not going. Oh no, money being the major issue. Yeah, I guess it depends where you are. The biggest part of the cost for me is the travel, because it's about a 3-hour drive away. And no matter, I guess if you had a really fuel efficient car, it might not be costing you much, but however you're doing it, you're paying on fuel on that one. And then you've got the hotel. But I think the fuel is eclipsing the hotel, because I managed to find a hotel which I believe we're all more or less booked in. We're taking it over. It's a back office expo hotel now, which happens to be cheaper than the Norbreck, because the Norbreck's got very expensive. When I went last time, it was like 20 quid or something for the night. Now it's, I don't know, some ridiculous price. So we're all staying at a different place. So there's a Fertin in the Discord has invited us to join a server called Rub. I don't know if you want to click on that or not. I probably won't click on it right now, because I might click on it. It could be rude and have pictures of penises or something just pop up. So I'm going to leave that alone for the minute. So Simon says he can't do London, but he's tempted by Blackpool. Ooh. Well, that's good, because I kind of feel it's nearer you because you're up north. But then looking at the map, the north is a big place, so it could be still a good old trek for you. But I think you'll be in good company, actually. There are a few people travelling from I think your neck of the woods. Maybe you'll meet them on the train. Yoshi Knuckles says, "Hey ho." Yoshi Knuckles, where you been? We've talked about fixing Nintendos, TRS-80, blood oxygen meters. Look at, oh yeah, this is fun, by the way. So I've got these blood oxygen meters because I like to be able to measure my resting pulse. So it's a bit of fun, really. Sometimes when I'm watching, oh right, so Simon says they were expensive before, and disbelief when the room prices when I went. Maybe I just, because I went last second, maybe it was just literally lastminute.com type deal. So sometimes I'll clip these on the end of one of my toes when I'm watching telly, and I can read the screen. And what it does, the alarm on these used to go off when it went under 50 beats per minute, because my pulse rate would occasionally go down to 40. So I got a new one because the old one firmware wouldn't let you set it properly. If you set it under 50, it would just revert back to 50, whereas this one does seem to work. So, and what's nice about this one is it actually has an accelerometer in it to turn the screen round. So before, you used to push the on-off button and it would rotate the screen, but now the on-off button really just turns it on, and if you hold it down, it lets you navigate these menus. So you can set the alarms if you want the alarm for the oxygen saturation in your blood levels or the pulse. So it's good, although I don't really know if what the blood oxygen stuff does. I've never really paid much attention to that. But what I noticed on this board, which is quite cute, is one, it's a nice board anyway. It's nice done. It's an ARM Cortex chip. And I think one of these, this is probably the accelerometer, and there's probably some op amps to do with stuff with the LED. And there's an LED in one side and then the photo sensor on the other, and it's basically shining the light through your finger. But look at this, it has a beefy footprint there for something that's not on this model. But when I flipped it over, I noticed you have the kind of, I'm not sure what bus that is, but you have certainly a serial bus on here. It would be cute if you could get some data out of that. That would be a little bit of fun there. So Yoshi's saying he's soldering up a bunch of Game Gear kits. The one you supposedly sold the design from someone. Reverse engineering improving is not equal to stealing. Well, you tell me. You tell me. I don't know where the line is between borrowing and stealing, to be honest with you. Interesting enough, I did see on eBay something that kind of not narked me, but I don't think it's nice. There is something called the PyTube Direct, which you might have seen a video on.
The beeper.
Pardon that. And I have noticed somebody's taken the PyTube Direct more or less model, which will be, you know, it's going to be using the standard firmware and everything, and they've made their own boards, and they're selling on eBay for something like 50 quid, which is kind of a bit dear. I think it might come with Pi, the Pi Alpha, but I couldn't see anywhere on their PCB any reference at all to that open source project. I mean, that is lifting a project, you know, and it's, you don't need to do it. People don't go, wow, you're so amazing that you made this board. No one's going to stop buying it from that shop, for example, if they acknowledged where they're getting that. See, it's just weird, isn't it? Why not give a shout out to those original people? Those original people are the people who are still developing the firmware and stuff for it. And why are they going to be motivated if everyone's just ripping off their shit? They'll be like, nah, can't be asked. Dean, thank you very much, sir. We'll speak to you soon. Anyway, I think that rant, my little rant there, is not at you, Yoshi, by the way, because I know what you're doing. It's barely intellectual property on that. But I'm talking about stuff where there's decent board layouts and there's firmware and there's lots of bits and pieces to those projects. So, if there's anyone in the chat has any last questions or any suggestions or anything they'd like to ask, please go ahead. Anything in Discord? Do you want to say anything? I'm going to probably think about wrapping this up because I'm going to set my PC to start rendering these videos, and we know those videos take an age to render it high def, 60 frames per second or whatever it is I use.
Okay, cheers. Good night.
Good night. Thank you. Oh, Robert. No, Robert. I'll hang on for you, Robert. Come on, join voice. Robert's going to join voice. Come on, Robert. Come on, Robert. Join voice. Right.
Come on, Robert.
You can't escape now. So yeah, Yoshi, you improved it. It's fine, but I think it's doing a pretty standard thing that other people did, right? The guy who did that board didn't invent what he was doing, right? I'm talking about things like the Pi, the Commodore 64 guy. You know, the guy who did the whatever that mod was, and I'm probably those other things you see, like the IEC things and all of that. I'm pretty sure they're public open source projects. I never see them referenced to. Stuart George says, good time for some Vegemite toast and a cuppa. Guessing it's morning where you are. Oh, and Andrew Beer saying he had the same problem with the TZX Uno, right? So that's like the Tap Uno, right? The tape project. I bet every Muppet under the sun stole the schematic designs, relayed them out, took your firmware, put it straight on, and then they don't even reference that project. And it's like, why the hell would you now bother to improve that for everybody else? I hate that. It seems so unnecessary, right? Afternoon. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm actually knackered. I've been power washing the driveway.
Power washing the driveway. That's what you wanted to do. You were looking to do that last night, weren't you? But giving your neighbours the opportunity to get some sleep instead.
Yeah. someone's bought the house next door to us. It's been up for sale for 3 years.
Really?
It's about time.
Are you a little bit nervous that you might get horrible neighbours?
No, she was there today. Yeah, she's not moving in till October, so she seems quite nice, and she got 3 or 4 kids as well, I think.
Did she introduce herself? You say hello?
Yeah, we had a chat.
She probably thought, ooh, who's that beefcake? Who's that beefcake cleaning his driveway?
She's one of these. I think she's a bit of a fitness head. She looks about late 40s, but she's got a triathlon tattoo as well.
Wow, we get a lot of those at boot camp. I'm not one of those, unfortunately, but I know the ones you're talking about, because it's like sometimes you can't tell how old someone is, although maybe sometimes their hands are a bit wrinkly because they're in their 60s, but their body is like 35.
Yeah. It looks like she lives under the sun lamp as well.
So, do you feel that there are not enough gaming expos in Cardiff?
Yeah, there's not much down this way, is there?
But there should be, though, because there's a hell of a lot of you. I mean, I'd say almost a third of my Discord must be Welsh.
They do Comic Con, I think, there.
So it's all about the comics, is it?
Yeah.
And It's like funny you joined as Dean just left, but I've spoken to all parties, and all parties should meet at some point.
Is Dean the one from Bridgend?
Yes.
Oh, right, yeah.
And I know you're all doing the same stuff that you'll absolutely love to know what the other ones are doing. But Dean, I think he's left now, but Dean was very much having a lot of trouble with Discord because he was using his iPhone, and it's a very horrible experience on the iPhone. I had a look how it looks, and it doesn't work in the same way. So
Android as well.
Android as well. I don't mind it so much on Android, but it could be something to do with the size of the screen, because I've got quite a big Android phone, so it gives me a lot of real estate. But maybe if you're on the smaller screen, like the 5-inch and less devices, they shove the icons in really weird places.
Yeah,
I find it okay on the Android.
Yeah, I think it's like if you look at the PC experience where your mention bar and stuff is, and if anybody at home who doesn't know what I'm talking about, it's this thing. This is Discord. So you've got this mention bar up here in the top right. In the app, it's somewhere down here with your user settings and things like that. So yeah, this is pretty cool. Look, we're doing quite well now. We've got a bit of a community going here, haven't we, in the old Discord? What do you think, though, Rob? It doesn't seem to be as rude as we had in the old Viz. I think that's probably a good thing.
It comes in droves, I think.
It comes in
quiet for a few days, and then there's mountains of porn and everything.
No, there's not porn. Anybody watching at home, there's not bloody porn. There's cheeky. There's cheekiness. I
Weird
think.
stuff.
Weird stuff or cheeky stuff. But there you go. Right. Well, Rob, I think I still have to go now because I can see my darling wife has just got back from Wales without the kids. Without the kids. A week without the kids.
It's time to try those generic Viagras now, isn't
It might be. I should have got hold of some, and I didn't. Maybe I can still get Amazon Prime to send me some for tomorrow. But so what you might be seeing this week is a lot of streaming, because you know what happens, I think, I suspect happens when the kids are away, is that all of a sudden you find yourself with a lot more time that you have on your hands that you didn't plan for. And although you think it's great, like, oh, I get to watch more telly, that'll get old really quickly. And I'll give you one more example, because Rob, I think you and Andrew are people who do spend some time working at home. When you've got a normal job, right, where you work 9 to 5, sometimes you just wish, don't you, on these days where it's like, oh, I wish I could just work at home and it would be so amazing. Until you kind of, if you ever have to work at home for any long period of time, it's really awful, and you start climbing up the walls. So.
Yeah, you get a bit of cabin fever too.
Yeah, you just miss the being able to talk to people over a coffee. Yeah. So maybe not having kids to shout up and picking up stuff they've broken will have the same effect. Who knows? You tell me though, Rob. You tell me. Come on,
I'm sure your missus is thinking, "Oh, great, I can spend some time with Andrew," and you're thinking, "Oh, great, I can spend some more time streaming."
Well,
that's not going to work.
I know my wife isn't watching the stream, but she might be. She did say to me, "Oh, it's a week without the kids. Are we going to go out every night and do all this, that, and the other?" And I was like, "Do you really think we will?" You know, when you're saying things, you're promising things to each other, but you both know you're not going to end up doing it. But it's nice to dream, isn't it?
Yeah. Unless you spent money or pre-booked somewhere, then you tend to say, "Oh, let's just stay in."
I think you're absolutely right there. You hit the nail on the head with that, because my whole weekend now has been ruined, and there's no reason I couldn't have done stuff. And if I'd organised with people to do stuff, or arranged to go to a restaurant, or just an outing, I know I would have just done it. If anybody had just phoned me and said, "Andrew, let's go to such and such," even if it was going to cost me like 30 quid to get in, or bowling or cinema, it's not the money, is it? I would have done it. I'd have just dropped it and said, "Yeah, I'll go do that."
Yeah.
But you just need to make sure you've arranged something, or at least you have such a massive circle of local friends. You've always got something to do. Right then. Well, everybody, I'm going to go off now, spend some quality time with my wife, maybe actually eating some real food, which I haven't done so far.
Cheers. Get your PC work.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. So thanks everybody. Thanks everybody in Discord, in the voice chat. It's been amazing having you, and it's really fun to have people to talk to. So I think we'll do more of this where everybody just jumps in and we'll it's almost like a radio show.
I didn't know that you took this time on the videos, and I want to thank you for doing all this work on the videos.
Oh, no problem. I love it when people like yourself get some help from the videos, right? And I get feedback where it's actually benefited someone. So I live for that, so it's no problem for me. But thank you. Thanks for the thanks.
And it's very, very entertaining, too.
Oh, you're most welcome.
I've got a kilo of boric acid on its way due to you.
Ah, I tell you what, I'm an unsung hero. I hope that works out for you. And did you? I think I did a video on that too. So again, we'll talk about that another time though. Otherwise, I'm never going to get out of here. I'm never going to go.
Yeah, you gotta
go.
And everybody who's in the chat, the YouTube chat, typing in. Thanks, guys, and we'll see you next week. New video Thursday. So Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday is the regular videos, and any streams that we do in the meantime, I'll chuck them in between. All the best. Have a good Saturday or Sunday. God, crikey. There's no part of the world where it's Saturday, so it's definitely Sunday, and a good week ahead. All the best, guys. Bye-bye.